Welcome, everybody, to a brand new Blu-ray and DVD out and about video today. And this week sees visions come to life in Last Night in Soho, hitting store shelves along with the animated comedy sequel, The Addams Family 2. The horror drama Titan and Shout Select is releasing a 25th anniversary Blu-ray edition of the Jim Carrey classic Liar Liar, plus much more. So let's go see the deals, exclusives, and we are at our first location, Walmart. So let's go in and see what they got. All right, everybody, we are in at Walmart, and oh my God, can you believe it? 2 weeks in a row, we got new release love. I gotta admit, they're catching a fever, and it ain't COVID. But whatever they got, I'm definitely digging it, baby. Oh, I am indeed, man. Who'd have thunk it? Let's hope the train keeps rolling, but let's see what they got with the Blu-ray DVD digital of The Addams Family 2. For $22.96, the DVD for $17.96, and they also have the 2-movie collection of Addams Family and Addams Family 2 for $24.96 as well. Now, I had a chance to catch this on Amazon Prime. I was interested in it because I like the first Addams Family movie. I thought it was cute. You know, it wasn't anything exactly to write home about. It wasn't the best animated movie of all time, but I thought it was quirky with nice characters, and it reminded me of the old school Addams Family feel to it. I appreciated it for what it was. Not necessarily needing a sequel, but the movie made a decent amount of money, so let's be honest, money talks, bullshit walks. If it's gonna make money, it's bound to get a sequel, and here we are, where the Addams Family is kooky as ever, but Wednesday is not really feeling it much anymore. You know, she's growing up, and she's kind of embarrassed with her family, embarrassed with her dad and her loved ones, and she kind of feels like she's not really part of the family anymore. She kind of feels like maybe she doesn't belong. And maybe it's honestly true. Maybe she's not even an Addams. What? The truth finally reveals itself? Oh, and so much more as they go on a road trip to capture the old times. Ah, yes, Addams Family on a road trip vacation. Good luck to everybody else. Indeed, man. So that's where we are with Addams Family 2, as they're in very much vacation mode, as you can see. Yes, even Uncle Fester has got his vacay going on, baby. Oh, man. I gotta admit, it's a fun movie, all right? It has that same sort of quirky charm that the first Addams Family has, just sort of amped up a little bit, where they're dealing with more people outside of their comfort zone, vacationers, and being the weird and oddball, quirky family that, you know, the normal people sort of look down at and smear at. But honestly, the weird not people are more fun. I mean, seriously, they really are, man. So I appreciated the humor, I appreciated the characters, I appreciated the bizarre quality that the Addams Family has always had, that they bring to animation form. That's all well and good, and it's still there. The voice acting is really good here. I like the designs for the most part. The animation, I think, is not as good as the first film. Maybe slightly a step down, or at least I felt it was. I mean, it's nowhere near a Pixar level, okay? And that's a shame, because Pixar is so good and animation is so good nowadays that you really have to step up your game. I don't quite think they did that. And the movie is kind of predictable at the end of the day. You know, it's this evil genius who's the bad guy that wants to get the experiment and take over the world and destroy the atoms, and yada, yada, yada. We've been there a time or two, haven't we, with all the other animated movies out there. It doesn't really reinvent the wheel. It doesn't really do anything new that you've been expecting. It's pulpy, animated kid fun at the end of the day. I appreciate it for what it is, because I'm an Addams Family fan, an old school Addams Family fan. But I don't think it's as good as the first Addams Family. I think it's a little bit of a step down. And I don't think it can really reach the heights of the other Addams Family movies, to be fair. I appreciate what they were trying to go for. And I always like the Addams Family, and I always like that they're trying to do more stuff with sort of kiddie humor. But I've always sort of appreciated the Addams Family as sort of taking the piss out of modern day normal culture and sort of almost being like the anti Leave It to Beaver. You know what I mean? Something like that. And they kind of do it the same here, but they do it in very kiddie form. I would love to see a more adult-themed Addams Family comedy animated movie. Again, that's sort of something that's never going to happen, man. I mean, I'm asking for the moon at this point, because, yeah, that shit is just not a reality. But for what it is, the kids are going to like it. If they like the first Addams Family, they're going to dig this. But I didn't think the story was strong. I didn't think some of the newer characters was as strong. The animation wasn't as strong either. And at the end of the day, as far as an animated sequel goes, it is lesser than, to be fair. It kind of goes for more pop culture-esque stuff than anything else. I would have rather they did something a little bit more akin to taking the piss out of modern culture than anything else, but they wanted to go with the schmaltzy, you know, I'm not part of the family, and then when I am part of the family, they really love me, and I find out what family and love really is, and yada frickin' yada. Been there, done that. I'd like to see Addams Family do something a little bit more quirky and unique. Now, this is kids animation. What the hell was I really expecting? I mean, come on, man. Still good. It's still Addams Family. It has its moments, but not as good as it could have been, which is a shame. Enter into the world of murder, mystery, and intrigue in Last Night in Soho. Oh, yes, the Blu-ray DVD digital for $22.96, the DVD for $17.96. Ah, yes, a little Edgar Wright goodness, anybody? I know this one is definitely anticipated from many, many people, and I can see why. Now, I got a chance to watch this on Amazon Prime as well. I never got a chance to see it in the movie theater, even though it was one I wanted to watch. It just passed me by. It wasn't in the theaters for that long, to be honest with you, which was a real damn shame, but I still wanted to watch it because I'd heard a lot of things about it. A lot of people who watched it were like, this is really good, and I'm like, okay, I do like Edgar Wright. These type of movies intrigue me. I gotta give it a go. So basically, it's about Eloise, this young girl going into college in London, fashion school, wants to be a fashion designer, wants to really put her mark on the world, and she goes to London, and it's anything but what she was expecting. The bright lights, the glamour, the nice people, the atmosphere, all of that is very seedy and mean and just not what it once was, or at least that's what she thinks. And basically, she decides, you know what, I'm gonna room somewhere else. These girls that I'm rooming with, they're fucking bitches. And so, I gotta get out. So she moves into this old lady's spare room, right? But she starts to get these visions of this woman back in the 1960s who is wanting to be a singer, and she gets caught into this whirlwind of love and lust and deceit and murder, and she's like, is this really going on? Am I dreaming this? Am I in an alternate reality? Like, what the hell is going on exactly? And it's basically the mystery of what is actually happening, and can she actually help this woman in real time and also help herself before she goes batshit nuts and crazy at the same time. Ah, yes indeed. All that Edgar Wright mysterious weirdness on display in Last Night in Soho. So, I gotta admit, first of all, it is true. All the things that people are saying, the movie is aces, okay? It is really, really fantastic, okay? No lie. The acting is absolutely amazing here. Thomasin McKenzie, who plays the lead chick in college, fantastic here. The stuff that she has to go through, playing happy and sad and worried and distraught and messed up. I mean, she has to go through the emotions in this film, and it pays off in a big bad way. She is phenomenal here. Also, Anya Taylor-Joy. Man, I've always loved Anya Taylor-Joy, and this movie spotlights her in the best way. Coming across as this really great would-be, wannabe singer type, and the stuff that she goes through, the whirlwind of emotions that she has to deal with, is amazing. I love her struggles here, and I love her story. I think both of the female leads in here kill it, absolutely. Matt Smith of Doctor Who fame, awesome here as well. Everybody is fantastic here. Terrence Stamp in a small role. Fucking Zod himself, badass motherfucker. He was great in this as well. Very mysterious and eerie, creepy at times. Love this movie so much. Those performances alone were well worth it, man. But the atmosphere here, and I love the recreation of the 60s. You can tell that Edgar Wright is a fan of that time period. You can tell that he's somebody who really appreciates that era of the bright lights and the signs and the neon and the clothing. He meticulously recreates it, and it is beautiful and haunting to look at. Absolutely phenomenal. The set dressing, the cinematography, everything here is on display in the best way possible. Fan-fucking-tastic, all of it is, man. And I love the idea of the paranoia in this film. I love the idea of you never can really trust anybody that you might think you can. And the people that you can't trust, well, take another look at them, because you might be wrong. I like that aspect of it. I like the messaging of what would you really do for fame and fortune and an opportunity at success? How far are you willing to go? Are you willing to even lose yourself in the process, your humanity, your soul, in order to get what you want? But is it really what you want, though? I really love those aspects and those messaging to it. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. I do think sometimes it's a little bit convenient. She has these visions. They don't really go out of their way to explain why she has these visions. It's sort of very Twilight Zone-y-esque of she's just having these visions for the sake of it, but she's not the only one that's ever had them. However, that being said, I do like the ending, and the ending did sort of catch me off guard. I did appreciate that, and I like the fact that they don't really outright say that somebody is a bad guy for a bad guy's sake. They say that, yes, this person is not good, and they did things for evil purposes, but in some way were they justified in it? That's kind of intriguing to me, and I thought they rode a line there that they perfectly did well with sort of balancing the fact that somebody can be evil and somebody can be manipulative and do the wrong thing, but you can understand why they did it. And I really appreciated that. I think this is really well done. I think the directing is phenomenal, the acting is phenomenal, the plot is really mysterious and intriguing, and there are times where it is unpredictable, but there is times where it is predictable as well, and you can see it kind of coming a mile away, especially if you pay attention to the plot and you've seen these type of films before, these type of giallis. If you've seen them before, the old school Italian stuff, you kind of know where things are going a little bit, but if you haven't, this is one that takes the old school Italian giallis and recreates it in a modern filmmaking sense that really does a great job here, and I thought it was phenomenal. I really did, man. Last Night in Soho is a really great yarn. It's never boring for a single second. It's always intriguing and mysterious, and I was with it to the very end. Really, really love this flick. Man, this one is a real killer. And even a little indie goodness as well. Oh, Be Still My Heart with The Last Son. The Blu-ray for $14.96, the DVD for $12.96. Oh, very nice. Sam Worthington, God, I haven't seen him in something in a while. Thomas Jane, he's done a lot of straight-to-DVD work. Heather Graham, well, I haven't seen her in something in a while, too. I used to love Heather Graham, man. I like the artwork, actually. Western goodness? Sam Worthington stars as Isaac LeMay, a murderous outlaw who learns he is cursed by a prophecy. One of his children will kill him. Oh, shit. Seriously? There's been a lot of movies that have done that premise before. I mean, even, like, Beastmaster. If you remember Beastmaster, like, the evil guy has a prophecy that, like, one of the firstborns is going to kill him. He's like, kill all the children. Of course, he never killed Beastmaster. Now, they've used that premise before, man. Interesting. To prevent this, he hunts down each of his estranged children, including long-lost son Cal, with bounty hunters and Sheriff Solomon on his tail. LeMay must find a way to stop his children and end the curse. Oh, that's kind of cool, man. It sort of takes the tried and true Western sensibility and sort of spins it on its head a little bit. I appreciate that. Kind of puts a little bit of a Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt spin on it, man, and I kind of appreciate that. I really do, man. I mean, I'm not a hugest fan of Westerns. There is some that I like, you know, Unforgiven and High Noon and, you know, some of those other ones out there. They're good, but the newer ones, I've never been as much of a fan. There's a few out there that I've liked, one with Russell Crowe in particular that I thought was fucking awesome. But a lot of the newer ones can't really compare to the old school classics, like Tombstone and so forth. You know what I'm saying? But this kind of looks cool, man. I mean, it has that Western sensibility, but the idea of the curse and the idea that he's got to kill his kids in order to stop the curse, like, something about that's really cool, and I really appreciate that. And it's sort of otherworldly that, you know, you don't always see in a Western flick. Not bad. Kind of interesting to me. An interesting cast, too. It might be a Western worth diving into. It just might be. Not bad at all, man. And not bad for Walmart this week. They definitely got a little bit of that new release love that I definitely appreciate. 2 weeks in a row. You gotta dig it. Let's head out. Holy shnikes, Batman. They actually had new release love for the 2nd week in a row. Are we starting down a little bit of a streak here? I don't want to speak too soon, but I'm liking the chances, baby. Indeed I am. Okay, I'm not going to go overboard on it, guys, but I will be honest. There was an employee here in the electronics department who came up to me and wanted to say hi and chat about movies and what I was doing. And very nice guy. I was talking to him and everything. And he's only been with the company, at least at this store, for at least a month or so. But he's really focusing on the movies and wanting to get them out on release day for the people and everything. And loves the movies. And he talked about, well, there was a few lazy employees in the electronics department. And they're trying to fix things up a little bit better. And I'm like, what? Seriously? Things might actually turn around. They might actually have new release love for most of the weeks. Seriously, they're actually going to put out the new shit on time? Damn. Holy shit. Did my praying to the physical media gods actually work out? Did they actually eventually hear my prayers? I think they might have, guys, and that is fucking astounding. Holy shit, it really is, man. I am amazed here. There's not always going to be every single week. There's going to be a lot of new release love out there. Okay, fair enough. But the week that there is, like this week and the previous week, I'd like to see them have the new release goodness. And they did. This is definitely good signs. Not saying it's going to last forever. Oh, I'd like to see it. But at least it's a good sign for hopefully good things to come. Let's hope, guys. Let's hope indeed. But hey, this is definitely a nice change of pace, dare I say. And I think you would agree with me indeed. Not bad at all for some new release goodness. But how about we check out some more new release love ahead? Alright, everybody. We are at our second location, Target. But before I go in, I gotta talk to you guys about something. Because have you heard the news? Come on, I think you have, right? You haven't? Seriously? You're about to be shocked, folks. Because guess what? Netflix? It's raising its prices. I know, right? Shocker of a lifetime. They're actually raising prices. Streaming services are raising prices on consumers. Seriously? What a bummer. Who'd have seen that coming? Netflix raises prices on all plans in U.S. You don't say. Netflix is raising prices across all of its plans in the U.S. today. The company's standard plan will rise to $15.50 per month from $14, while the 4K plan will rise to $20 per month from $18. The basic plan, which doesn't include HD, is also rising to $10 per month from $9. Prices are rising in Canada as well. The price hikes go into effect immediately for new subscribers. For existing subscribers, the changes will be rolled out gradually, with Netflix promising to email members 30 days before the price hike goes into effect. Well, you know, at least you have 30 days. Prices for a Netflix plan have steadily gone up in recent years. The standard plan went to $14 per month from $13 in late 2020 after previously rising to $13 from $11 in 2019. Prior to that, Netflix raised prices in 2017 and 2015. When Netflix announced its first wide-scale price increase in 2014, the company was so worried about losing subscribers over a $1 per month bump that it let existing members keep their price for 2 years. Now, it hasn't offered that type of perk since, obviously. Oh, yes, definitely not for a long, long time. The price hike comes during a successful but challenging moment for Netflix. The company already has a wealth of subscribers across the U.S., and adding more is a challenge, making price hikes an obvious answer for how it can make more money. At the same time, Netflix is now competing with several other serious streaming services for attention, including Disney Plus and HBO Max, and it's been spending big on content to keep it coming. Now they go on to say, we're updating our prices so that we can continue to offer a wide variety of quality entertainment options. As always, we offer a range of plans so members can pick a price that works for their budget. But if you keep rising it every so often, eventually that budget kind of goes bust. You know what I'm saying? Netflix isn't the only service that's been raising prices lately. Hulu hiked the price of its ad-supported and ad-free tiers by $1 per month in October. Oh, indeed they have. All of these streaming services hiking their prices. And are you getting more for your money? Or are you getting the exact same? Sometimes maybe even less. Guys, look, it's a conundrum. I talked about this stuff ad nauseum. I really have. Over the course of God knows how many months and years I've talked about the streaming services, and I'll continue to talk about it when there's an article that's worth talking about. And this is one of them. Look, I still have Netflix. I'm still subscribed to Netflix. Why? Because for me, there's enough content out there that I like. There's enough content that's coming out that I still feel it's worth for me paying the money for it. Now, that's not for everybody, to be fair, right? But, like, recently, I'm watching Hawkeye with my girlfriend, right? And we're watching that, and that's great. And then I start to think to myself, well, what's after Hawkeye? And there's really nothing for a little bit. I mean, yes, I'm watching Boba Fett, but I'm like, well, after that's done, there's nothing really that's going to be on there for a while that I'm interested in. I'm probably going to cut the cord on that, at least until there's something I want to come back, and then I'll resubscribe again. And even something like HBO Max that I have. I mean, I like HBO Max, and there's a couple things that I'm glad I watched on HBO Max, like Matrix Resurrections, but again, there's not much more that I'm willing to think it's worth keeping anymore. And honestly, this is what is going to happen. Because when you're talking about money issues, when you're talking about a family that has to pay for groceries and electric bills and, you know, paying for clothing and all the extra stuff that you pay for to live in a place with your family and all of those extra added costs, you start to think of entertainment in a different way. You start to think of how much bang am I going to get for my buck? How much bang am I going to get for my money, right? Because if I'm paying a tier of $20, I better get $20 worth of programming that I know is worth it. Now, some people are saying, well, $20, that's still really good. You could go to the movie theaters for $20 and only see one movie. You go on the streaming service, you get a hell of a lot more than that. True. You're right. However, think about this. With work, sleep, dealing with family issues, and life's everyday expectations, how much are you really watching on these streaming services? If you're not watching a lot, you have to start asking yourself, is the $20 being spent in the correct way? And then you have to start to think, because you have the internet for the streaming services, obviously you have to buy, you know, the Roku device or the Fire Stick and all that jazz. And then you have to buy all these other things on top of it. Well, if you want Amazon Prime, there's Disney Plus, there's Hulu, there's Peacock, there's Paramount Plus, there's HBO Max, there's Netflix, and God knows everything else that's coming out. And you cut the cord for a certain reason because you weren't watching as much on cable that you felt that it was worth it. So you decided, fuck it, man, I'm getting off of this thing because I'm paying too much money. And now you're racking up the same amount of costs for all these streaming services, but you're not nearly getting the amount that you pay for because you just don't have the time. So you now have to cut things. And I understand why Netflix is doing that. Netflix is a company that rose very quickly, right? Was huge right out of the gate and continue to be. And they're in every market that they could possibly be in. So now it's hard for them to really up their subscriber base anymore because they've pretty much done it at their peak at this point. So now the way to gain more revenue is to increase the prices. And by doing that, it may be worth it for them, but at the end of the day, they may lose subscribers. now is the problem for Netflix, because you can say we're raising prices. Okay. But now, as a consumer, you get to say, hold on a second. If you get to do that, what are you giving me that's worth it? You gave me all this great content, but you now have to deliver even more. So it's even more expectations on them. And it's the same thing that's going to happen with Disney. It's the same thing that's happening with Hulu and everything like that. If you think for a single second that all these streaming services like Disney and everything are not going to go up, you are dead wrong. All of this content that they're making costs money. It's advertising, it's getting the actors, it's the CGI, it's the special effects, it's filming the damn stuff, it's the writing, it's hiring all of these people. Your dollars go towards that. And so you have to start thinking to ask yourself, wait a minute, is it worth it for my hard-earned dollars to go to this content that I'm liking? Or has the content been kind of lackluster, and why should I continue to support these? Now the streaming wars are really picking up, guys. Now the streaming wars are happening where all of these companies now literally are vying for your hard-earned dollars. And in order to do that, they need to up the ante over and over again to give you more content than ever before to keep your money. You as a consumer have even more of a say than ever before, because you can take your money somewhere else. You could tell these streaming services, wait a second, you're not making the kind of content that I like, or by raising the prices, you think that I'm just going to conform to what you say because I love your product. Sometimes enough is enough. And sometimes these companies have to realize that, look, I get it. There's inflation. I get it that everything is being raised up. But at the end of the day, there is so much to pay for right now. Whether it's food, whether it's gas, whether it's clothing, whether it's rent or electricity, warmth, during the winter to keep yourself from freezing to death. There's so much money that you have to pay for, and so much that you can stretch with $1. And trying to pay for an extra added thing for entertainment, sometimes you got to start asking yourself how much that content is really worth it. Do you need 4 or 5 streaming sites, or can you get rid of 1 or 2 of them and still be happy with what you have? This is the time to really decide on that, guys. It really honestly is, because look, I don't have all the streaming sites. I don't have Hulu. My girlfriend has Hulu. She's happy with it. I sometimes steal her Hulu, though. Can you really blame me? I mean, I don't have Apple TV. They have some great content, but I don't really need it. I mean, at the end of the day, I have to decide what's worth it for me. My mother is going to be cutting the cord this year. And she's asking me all these questions about, what about, all these other ones out there, all these other live TV ones and Hulu and all this stuff. And I have to be honest with her, and I have to tell her, okay, look, this is this much money. This is that much money. These are the price points. And this is how much you can afford. And this is how much stuff is on this platform. And is it worth the money to invest in it? And so you have to start speaking with your dollar bills. You have to start speaking with your money. As a consumer, you have incredible power. Incredible power. And I'm not saying that Netflix isn't worth it. But what I'm saying is that Netflix is walking a very large tightrope right now. An extremely large tightrope that they have to navigate very carefully, because if you don't do that, that tightrope is going to shrink more and more and more, and less people are going to want to be on your platform. And it's the same thing that's going to happen with Disney, and the same thing that's going to happen with all of these companies. Once you open the box for all this amazing content and then have it for this price point and continue to raise the prices, you either up the ante or people leave. This is why I like physical media, guys. Honestly, this is why I do. And not everything from these streaming sites is on physical media. God, I only wish. But once I own it, once I have it in my collection, I'm not beholden to any of these people anymore. Yes, I still like Netflix, but you want to know what? Honestly, there's going to come a time when I'm going to say sayonara to them. It's not yet, but it may come in the future, sooner rather than later. The same with a lot of these streaming sites. You know, look, man, I buy a lot of stuff. I pay for a lot of things in my life, and entertainment is very precious to me, but you have to factor in a lot of things of how much do you really consume in order to make it worth it. There's so many factors and so many things to really look at when you're looking at streaming services and when you're looking at the content and what is worth it. And price point is quickly becoming one of those. Netflix, I don't think is quite there as far as giving up on them yet, but they got to watch themselves. Because with all the competition out there, they really have to make it worth your while to stay. And with the price going up to like $20, $20 a month for renting content. You're renting it. You're not owning it, you're renting it. Is it worth to rent it for $20 a month when that $20 might go to something better? It's worth a thought. It indeed is. Let me know what you think about this, guys. I always think it's fascinating with streaming services and the content and the pricing, because it's not like this is going away anytime soon. Streaming services are king, but it only lasts as long as the service is worth it and as long as the price is worth it. It is called The Price is Right for a reason, folks. It indeed is. Let me know what you think about that. In the meantime, there is some really decent physical media out there. Walmart definitely proved it, but what about Target? They got the goods? Well, how about we go in, check it out. All right, everybody, we are in at Target, and little wiped? Yeah, really wiped. But that doesn't mean that they don't have a little bit of new release love, because they definitely do. Let's dive in, shall we? The first thing I'm seeing, and that is The Addams Family 2, the Blu-ray DVD digital for $24.99, the DVD for $19.99, and that wonderful 2-movie collection set for $26.99 as well. Ooh, very kooky. Now, I gotta admit, saw something, okay? I have been very disappointed in the past with animated sequels. I'm always hesitant when it comes to animated sequels in general. I really am. And I know some people embrace them, but it's hard for me to really do that, man. I mean, you gotta remember, as a kid, I loved so many animated movies, man. The Little Mermaid, The Lion King, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, and so much more, man. And all of the goddamn fucking sequels, man, were so fucking disappointing, man. It was just a cash grab. I mean, Lion King 2, shit, right? Terrible. Real piece of garbage, man. I mean, Cinderella 2, you remember that shit? Oh, you don't? You forgot about it? Oh, I didn't. I'm still disappointed by that shit, man. I mean, Aladdin 2? Okay, that wasn't half bad, all things considered, but it's still disappointing, especially to the first Aladdin. I mean, hell, they even made a sequel to All Dogs Go to Heaven. That movie, All Dogs Go to Heaven, is fucking amazing. And that sequel is so disappointing. It crushed my little kid's soul. It really did. Now, that's not to say that animated sequels aren't good, because some of them have really shined, like The Incredibles 2, which is absolutely amazing. I really do like The Boss Baby 2. I think that's actually pretty damn good. I will say Frozen 2. It's a real surprise. I'm serious, man. That movie surprised the hell out of me. I wasn't expecting it to be really half as good as it actually turned out to be, man. But for the most part, when I look at sequels, especially to kids' animated movies, they tend to be really disappointing. I don't know whether it's the expectations or whether the studios think, well, obviously we've already established the property, we've made a ton of money on it already, so obviously just cash grab on it. It won't be nearly as good, the animation won't, the story won't. Sometimes they do buck the trend, but other times not so much. And I gotta admit, with Addams Family 2, it kind of continues with the trend. I know it does, man. I mean, look, I should expect this, right? Because honestly, to me, I grew up in an era where original animated movies were fucking king, man. They were amazing. And then the sequels were all bullshit. Nowadays, I think the trend has kind of switched a little bit, but, you know, we still get some crap. Like Peter Rabbit 2. That was a complete cash grab, man. And this seems the same way. I love Addams Family. I love the story. I love how you could do this sort of taking the piss out of you know, normal everyday life. I think that's kind of cool, but to do it in this sort of kiddie poppy sort of way that they did, I think sort of undermines the actual Addams themselves. I don't know. For me, this is a big old cash grab. Not as bad as All Dogs Go to Heaven 2. That to me is still a goddamn sin, but this, well, doesn't win any awards either. Boy, I really can't wait to be transported to the 60s. If it's anything like this movie, I'll be used, abused, and dead before sunup. Oh, God help me, man. With Last Night in Soho, the Blu-ray DVD digital for $24.99, the DVD for $19.99. Ah, yes. All that Edgar Wright horror love. And it's kind of interesting because Edgar Wright and horror doesn't exactly go together. I mean, I appreciate him as a filmmaker. He's a unique and interesting filmmaker. I can't say I've loved all of his work, but he has a unique quality which I definitely appreciate. I mean, Hot Fuzz, I know a lot of people really love Hot Fuzz, and I just, honestly, I could never really get into the humor of Hot Fuzz. I tried, I really did. It didn't really do much for me. World's End is not terrible, but it doesn't exactly light the world on fire as much as everybody would like to think it does. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is really fantastic. First time I ever watched that, I was a little bit like, I'm not sure about this, but I really like the homage to video game adaptations, and I thought they pulled it off in a really pleasant way. I definitely appreciated that. My favorite, of course, of all of Edgar Wright's catalog has to be Shaun of the Dead, man. I love Shaun of the Dead. That is some really great shit, and that's the closest that he's ever got to really being a horror director. I mean, it's not really truly complete horror. It's more horror comedy than anything else, more of the comedic than actually the horrific, but it's a really wonderful fucking movie, man, and my favorite of his. Then again, Baby Driver is really fucking amazing, dude. I really love Baby Driver too. I don't know, Shaun of the Dead or Baby Driver, that's a tough one, man. I love them both, I really do. They're both really fantastic movies, man. It depends on my mood, but I do really dig both. But I really like that he went out of his way to do something unique and different and interesting outside of his comfort zone. I really do. Because again, sometimes filmmakers can be pigeonholed into certain genres. It's happened many, many times before. You look at John Carpenter and you look at Wes Craven and you look at a lot of these other directors who have done stuff outside of that, but unsuccessfully because all the audience want to see that particular style of genre that they do. Edgar has been very thankful to do stuff a little bit outside of the box and has been able to reinvent himself, which I really appreciate. And I gotta give Edgar Wright at least this much. The fact that he's a unique filmmaker, he's a unique brand, and he's been able to paint himself as not a paint-by-numbers type of director. And I think that's really the problem, because there's a lot of great directors out there. There really is a lot of phenomenal directors out there who do amazing work, absolutely phenomenal work. Unfortunately, they're sort of the studio guy. They do the same old stuff over and over again, and it's just very generic and average stuff that you see every single day. It's still good at it, but hasn't really broken away from the mold that big studio pictures has really given them. There's only a few directors out there that have really done that amazingly, and give Edgar Wright credit, he really has. I'd like to see him do something different outside of horror now that he's done something like Last Night in Soho. I'd like to see him tackle something that he hasn't quite done before. Maybe a love story. Do something a little bit more interesting. Something that challenges him. I think that's what makes a really great director, is to challenge yourself. And if you can do that and be successful at the same time, then you've really pulled it off. Very few filmmakers are able to do that, especially nowadays within the sort of average, mundane Hollywood system that we have, but sometimes you're able to break away in the best ways possible, and Edgar Wright is truly one of those. I can't say I love all his work, but I appreciate what he's done because he's a filmmaker that deserves the type of respect that any cinephile can give. He's just that damn good. You gotta give him the respect he deserves. You truly do, man, and I definitely do. Not bad at all, man. Just a little bit of new release love. Not much. I mean, considering it's kind of empty here, majorly. I mean, hell, that Dune exclusive certainly didn't last either, man. But they still have a little bit of Cobra Kai love, Spencer love, Halloween Kills love, and hey, they even have a little bit of Bond still. Who'd have thunk it? Not bad overall, man. A little bit, I'll definitely take it. Not bad. Let's head out. Even if they can't outshine, they can at least keep up. Oh, indeed they can, baby. Like I said, everybody pretty much is probably going to have the same type of releases, most likely. The big two, for sure. I was hoping for a little bit more. This is Target, so I was hoping they were going to squeeze out some really good ones, some unexpected ones, which we have seen as of late. You never quite know when you come into Target. Sometimes physical media gold awaits us. This time, more like silver. But I'll definitely take it for sure, man, because, like I said, sometimes other stores may disappoint. Target has always been on point for sure, and even on a physical media week where we're probably seeing all of the same stuff, hey, at least they are able to deliver the goods, and not every store is able to do that. But Target has been pretty consistent, so give them credit for that one at least, guys. That's for sure. New release love, not much, but at least it's something. Gotta give them credit for something, guys. Everybody gets an award one way or another these days. So might as well Target, huh? Might as well. Alright, guys. Not bad overall, I suppose. Let's go see if we can check out any more physical media worth showing off. Now, wait just a second there. A little bit of a second, folks, because I decided why not stop at a little pleasant spot along the way that I have been recently getting a lot of physical media love at. Now, I don't know if I have anything here, to be fair. I have not checked in the last, week or so. Honestly, the last couple times I've checked, I've actually been really pleasantly surprised. So I figured, well, if I'm going to take the gamble, on a Tuesday, when I'm out and about anyways, might as well give it a go. So we are none other than, one of my favorite places that I love going to. Surprise, surprises indeed. When I go to none other than, oh yes, the post office. All that post office goodness, packages from you guys perhaps? Well, I don't know this week. I haven't really got anybody messaging me exactly, but I am curious to find out whether the gamble might pay off for me to go and check out a little bit of package goodness. Well, you never quite know. So how about I go in and maybe check out? The gamble might pay off. Maybe. Well, back in yet again at the P.O. box, and I just came here randomly thinking, hey, maybe there might be something. I don't know. Figured maybe luck of the draw, who knows? Was there actually something in here? Was I actually surprised by something in the P.O. box? Well, yeah, I kind of was. I have no idea who sent this to me. I didn't even think I was getting anything this week at all. This is a complete and utter surprise to me. And I'm just as curious to you to find out what the hell this is. So how about we go back in the car and find out. Alright. Back in from the post office. Okay. I am very curious. I don't know what this is exactly. I seriously do not know whatsoever. It's from Iowa? From Kizzer Kyle? I have no idea, man. I didn't even think I was getting anything at all. Nothing. Nobody sent me any sort of message saying, hey, there's something for you in the mail. Nothing. So I have zero clue what this is, guys. So this is kind of interesting knowing that I don't even know who sent this to me. I don't even know what's going on. So your guess is as good as mine. But you know what? We're going to open it regardless. We're going to see what the hell is in this thing. So let's have at it here. It's kind of nice to get a nice surprise from the P.O. Box. I'm not going to lie. Something that you probably weren't expecting. Okay. There's quite a few things in here. What is some of this stuff here? Is there a note or something? There's not a note in here or anything. But these are really interesting. Okay, God, what do I show off first, man? Okay, you know what? I'll show off this. This is an old school Blue Underground double feature DVD special edition. It's the Red Lips double feature of Two Undercover Angels and Kiss Me Monster. Never heard of either of these ones. They're films by Jess Franco. Now, I have heard of Jess Franco. I haven't dived into everything Jess Franco. I've dived into a little bit here, a little bit there. I mean, there is so much Jess Franco out there that there is, like, so much to dive into. It's hard to dive into everything. This, I've never heard of any of this stuff, man. Interesting. A psychedelic acid jazz wig out? What the hell? Bruno probably presents these psychedelic spy spoofs featuring the bold and beautiful detective duo, the Red Lips. Then Kiss Me Monster. Jess Franco. Wow, no, I've never heard of either of these. This is quite interesting indeed. Wow. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know, this is kind of cool, man. I've never heard of any of these titles. This is kind of unique and interesting to me. Wow. Very unique, interesting find to get here. This is interesting, I'm not gonna lie. Then, I also got from them, from IFC Midnight, a Scream Factory DVD, and that is Hellions. Now, I have heard of Hellions. I've never actually seen Hellions. She may not survive. Damn. Oh, yes. Robert Patrick, Bruce McDonald. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh, cool. Oh, that's awesome. Strange trick-or-treaters play conflicted teenager Dora at her isolated home on Halloween. Under siege by forces she can't understand, Dora must defend both body and soul from relentless Hellions dead set on possessing something Dora will not give them. Oh, cool. This is cool, man. This is really cool. Wow. I have got to watch this. I've heard of it. Never have gotten a chance to watch it, but getting the DVD, that's pretty cool. Okay. I'll definitely give this one a chance. I love Robert Patrick. I mean, come on. Terminator 2, anybody? Robert Patrick's the king, man. So I definitely got to give this one a look. That's cool. Okay. And last but certainly not least, I don't know what this is, but this looks so weird and cheesy and seedy, but you don't want to know what? It's probably right up my alley, and that is none other than Seed People. They are the root of all evil. Oh my God, what is this? The sleepy town of Comet Valley has been invaded by plants from outer space. Intent on taking over the Earth, the space plants have found a way to pollinate humans, thus turning them into walking seed carriers. Can the resourceful residents fight off the alien invaders, or is the planet doomed to become an alien garden? Oh, wow. What the fuck? Holy shit. This is so weird, man. You know what? I kind of want to know what it reminds me of? Like Pod People or something, right? Like, it reminds me of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but like a more cheapo version of it, like a full moon version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. What the hell? I have never heard of this movie. So it was kind of weird because a while ago, Bob and I were chilling at my apartment, and we go through like the full moon app on my Roku. And we're pressing trailers and everything. And some of the trailers that we see for some of these movies, we're like, we have never heard of any of these fucking movies, man. We're like, I don't know where the hell they came up with this shit. And Seed People is one of those ones where I'm like, Man, the shit they come up with. Wow. What the hell, man? This is crazy. I mean, the DVD case is kind of beat up, ain't gonna lie, but, I mean, the DVD is actually in surprisingly really good condition, man. Wow. That is some crazy shit. Dude, what the, what the fuck? This is crazy. This is awesome. Hellions is really cool. This Red Lips double feature from Jess Franco, that's really wild. I've never heard of either of these titles. Blue Underground has put out a lot of really great horror classics, Italian horror, and this is one I've never heard of either of these ones. Huh. Hedonistic fantasy with subversive wit. Okay. I am definitely intrigued by all of these. I mean, seriously, I came to the post office this week thinking, well, maybe could we do, you know, possibly like a gamble that maybe there might be something here, maybe. I thought maybe that was just going to be a wasted effort coming here, but honestly, holy freaking cow, that isn't a wasted trip, man. This is crazy to me. This is wild. 2 Jess Franco films, a Scream Factory DVD, and a full moon feature that looks very weird, but just how I like them. Oh my God. What the hell? You gotta let me, whoever sent these to me, please message me, comment, whatever, tell me that you sent them, because this is amazing, man. There is no note in here. There's nothing. I was hoping there was a note that was going to be in one of the DVDs, but there's nothing in here. I was hoping. Whoever sent them my way, thank you. This is crazy, man. This is absolutely amazing that you would even send this stuff. Thank you, beyond words. I mean, I gotta tell you that I've had some very unique stuff come into the P.O. box, but this is probably the most unique of them all. I ain't gonna lie, man. Wow. This is some really weird and crazy, ridiculous shit, man, but honestly, I think I'm gonna have a ball with these ones. I think I really am, man. Damn. Wow. Full Moons, IFC Midnight, and a little Jess Franco love. Damn. Man, that is quite the interesting P.O. Box adventure, dare I say. Holy shit. It really is, man. Wow. Thank you. Seriously. To whoever sent them. Because this is fan-frickin-tastic. That's amazing shit. Wow. Beyond words. Thank you. Like I said, I came here just as like a gamble, saying, hey, maybe I'll have something in the P.O. Box. Maybe I won't. But that is one hell of a surprise, man. That's fucking awesome, dude. Holy shit. Beyond words. Thank you, man. And thank you to everybody who has sent anything my way to the P.O. Box. It is not expected. Trust me. It is not expected, but it is definitely appreciated. And you guys have went out of your way to send some really amazing things. Amazing things that I have never experienced before. And that's saying a lot, man. That is saying quite a bit. Wow. That is amazing. If you want to send the P.O. Box any love, you can. The P.O. Box is in the description below. You know, you guys have said, hey, we want to send you some cool stuff. Where do we send it? P.O. Box is where it's at. Anything is very well appreciated. And this is some amazing shit, man. I cannot wait to dive into some really weird, old school cinema. Something that I think I'm definitely going to dig. Oh, I think I will, man. Very, very fucking awesome indeed, man. Damn. Well worth the gamble, dare I say. Well worth it indeed. Who'd have thought taking a trip to the P.O. Box could be such an adventure? Indeed it is. I can't wait to see where the adventure takes me next. But I think we have more physical media to check out. So how about we head off doing that, huh? All right, everybody. We are at our third location, the second Walmart. I'm going to go in and check out if there's any interesting indie titles worth showing off. If there is, I will bring it back to Film Fan 108 HQ and show it out to each and every one of you. But before I do that, I got to talk about a trailer with you guys. And if you didn't get enough A24 love already, well, you're about to get more soon enough with little X love. Oh, yes, X, coming very soon this year, directed by Ty West, a new horror experience by A24. You don't say, huh? Ah, yes. A24, their specialty of weird horror flicks, continues yet again, man. So, I watched the trailer for this, and what's interesting about this is that it's very much influenced, at least from the trailer, it feels like old school 70s grindhouse cinema. At least it feels that way to me, about these group of young kids out there, 20-somethings, who want to be famous in Hollywood, make a movie, and they end up stumbling upon this farmhouse where they're sort of staying. This old man is in the farmhouse with his wife, and something happens at night with the wife. And so these 20-somethings who are very oblivious to the world and, you know, the 70s, folks, okay? They smoked a lot of weed, they had a lot of sex. They weren't exactly the most cautious motherfuckers in the world, okay? Just saying, you know, they didn't have a lot of trust issues that we have now, folks. So they're like, you know what, whatever. Yeah, you know, man, just chill, man. And, well, this old lady, yeah, she may be old, crippled, and frail, but at night, she turns into a goddamn super being, or whatever the fuck she is. I have no idea, but this chick is going crazy and killing them. And so the horror movie that they are making, well, they've just entered into a real one. And God bless them if they get out alive. Oh, man. You know, look, it has shades. Immediately when I was watching the trailer, it has shades of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Immediately. And I was watching, I'm like, oh yeah, this was heavily influenced by Grindhouse 70s, immediately Texas Chainsaw. And you knew it right from the get-go, man. Whether it's the scenery, whether it's the look, whether it's the farmhouse, you could really tell that Texas Chainsaw was a heavy influence on this particular film for Ty West. And speaking of Ty West, I had actually kind of forgotten about Ty West. It had been a while because he was on a roll there. He had did Cabin Fever 2, House of the Devil, which I really love. I think House of the Devil is fucking brilliant. He did The Innkeepers, which, I wasn't the hugest fan of The Innkeepers. It was good for what it was. I mean, he did, you know, certain segments on VHS, and I think other, you know, horror anthology movies. He had done other things, but he had really been out of the game for a while. He had been doing a lot of TV episodes, but nothing as far as movie is concerned. And so it had been like since like maybe like 2013, 14, somewhere around there, the last real, you know, popular thing or something that people had really recognized him for, he had done. And so I was like, wow, Ty West is back. Ty West and A24, that's kind of the perfect combination. I ain't gonna lie, it really is, man. I mean, I will say this. I love old school horror cinema. I really do, man. The 60s, the 70s, there's something about that time period. Whether it's Texas Chainsaw, Last House on the Left, The Hills Have Eyes, there's something about it where there's an innocence to it, but there's a seediness where good people are put in a bad situation and all hell breaks loose. And the idea that you think you're safe and you're naive about it, but that's what gets you in the end, man. And I love that idea. And with the advent of cell phones and a lot of the modern day technology, we've lost something within horror movies that it's hard to get back nowadays. It's hard to really have that same type of feel to a horror movie that you used to have. And so I like the fact that Ty West is going back to that idea of dread and the idea of, you know, you don't have the technology to save you, you're alone, and you just have to trust people, and trust alone sometimes just doesn't get you very far, folks, especially in the 70s. And this is one of those times, man. It looks kind of cool. It looks like a great homage to 70s grindhouse cinema, horror cinema. And I like Ty West. And yeah, I think this old chick is like a vampire or some shit or some cult stuff. But maybe I'm being too simple with it. It's Ty West. You know it's going to be messed up. You know A24 is not going to be your typical horror thing. You know they're going to do something more weird and freaky and out there with it. And that's something I'm definitely looking forward to. A24 doesn't always pull it off, but this time around, I'm actually really looking forward to this flick. I can't say I'm looking forward to everything A24 does, but with Ty West behind the helm, it might be something worth diving into. It might be. Ty West coming back, that alone is worth the price of admission. It indeed is. You gotta let me know what you think about this. Good actor, 70s vibe, and perhaps a horror flick that reminisces about the good old days. Let's hope, guys. Let me know what you think, but in the meantime, how about we head into the second Walmart? Hopefully some goodies worth checking out. All right, everybody, in at the second Walmart, and it's been pretty decent for physical media so far. Some pretty good titles here, some pretty good titles there, some variety all over the place, and at least all the places so far actually have new releases out. Shocker of a lifetime indeed, guys. But what about the second Wally World? Are we going to get some weird, bizarro titles, just what I love? Well, honestly, we kind of are. Yes, we actually are, guys. It's quite a bit of weirdness this time around, guys, and I am loving every second of it. Oh, this is going to be pretty damn good, guys, so you know what this means. We definitely have to go back to Film Fan 108 HQ, where you, Seth, yes, you have to show off all the bizarreness and the weirdness. Come on, let's have it. What are you doing?
I'm doing a super cool pose. You like it?
Sure, I guess. I mean, if you're a poser.
Poser? Huh?
Yeah, you heard me. A poser. You know I'm not wrong.
Well, at least like the sunglasses?
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what you think!
Okay. I seriously walked into that one.
Yeah. You kinda did.
Hardy har har. You may have the last laugh this time, but you know I always get to say show off that physical media goodness, because if you don't, I will lay the smackdown on your candy ass.
Lay the smackdown? On my candy ass? Sure. The only thing you're laying the smackdown on is my boot. Up your ass. Because you can never smell. But the Film Fan 108 is cooking. I know, I gotta steal better taglines. I do. But it's so damn good. And it does fit me pretty well. Oh, indeed it does, baby. Indeed, indeed, man. And I suppose one of these days I'm going to have to get in a ring with that bozo. But in the meantime, he does have a point. I do have to show off some physical media love, don't I? I definitely do. And he is right, though, because honestly, it's been pretty good for physical media this week. I mean, not extremely plentiful, but seeing a lot of stuff at just 2 locations so far, that's been pretty damn good. And something we don't always often see. So, definitely gotta praise that. So, when it comes to the indie love, well, let's be real, folks. Sometimes it's plentiful, sometimes it's a little on the low end. This time around, ooh, it's got definitely some height to it in a big, bad way. The weirdness and bizarreness is on display, and it's on display in the most cheesiest way possible. Oh, yes. The weirdness, the bizarreness. You can't really beat what the second Walmart gives you. It's just too good to be true. Right. Let's dive in, shall we? The first thing I'm seeing, and that is none other than the gardener. He fights a little dirty. Well, if you're Robert Bronzy, you definitely do. Oh, yes, another Robert Bronzy special. The rip-off master himself. Oh, indeed he is. Look at that. Oh, only a face that... And old school action master can appreciate. Yes. Yes, indeed. Oh, man, Robert Bronzi. We've been here before, haven't we? Yes. You know, when you look like Bronson, even a little bit, you kind of got to capitalize on it, don't you? Yeah, you kind of do. And Robert Bronzi definitely is doing his due diligence, huh? Oh, he definitely is, man. The gun in one hand, the badass looking in another. How many ripoff artists can truly pull that shit off? Come on, man. What is this about? The quiet of the English countryside is shattered one brutal night in the intense home invasion thriller. A troubled, wealthy family gathers in a quaint manor home for the holidays, never suspecting that bloodthirsty, sadistic Volker and his crew linger at the gates, ready to attack, rob, and maim them at nightfall. But they didn't count on the estate's quiet gardener, Peter, who must return to his savage ways he learned as a soldier to save the family. Yes, because if anyone's gonna save you, it's the gardener? Seriously? Okay, sure, why the hell not, man? Oh, man, the unsuspecting gardener, the person you don't suspect, is the most badass motherfucker. Of course he is. You know what this kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of Under Siege. Yeah, Under Siege. One of the better ones. Of course it is. One of the only ones from that dude. I love the idea. Well, he's only a fry cook. How harmful can he really be? This is true. How harmful can Seagal really be? But in that movie, man, he's one badass motherfucker. He is, man. And there has been quite a few movies like that, hasn't there? There really has, man. I mean, a few that I think of right off the bat that I really love. I mean, one, speaking of a little bit of rip-off goodness, or reboot goodness, more like it, is none other than Death Wish. Yeah. How far would you go to protect your family? I love this movie, actually. Really solid. I remember seeing this in the movie theater and thinking to myself, man, Bruce Willis, Death Wish remake? Really trying to ape off of Bronson? And he actually succeeded. It was actually good. No shit. Really was, man. Probably one of the last times I actually was impressed by a Bruce Willis film. Shocker of a lifetime, but I didn't realize that this was going to be one of the last times I actually liked the dude. If I knew that, hell, I probably would have tried to make the moment last a little longer. It was really good, actually. Not half bad, actually. That was a really, really solid one. Really appreciate that. Of course, I really love Get Carter, man. Oh, Get Carter is so fucking awesome. I love that. Who would suspect Stallone as one badass motherfucker? Everybody? I mean, come on, man. This is such a really great movie. Yes, a remake, but I thought Stallone really pulled it off, man. That's a really good one. Of course, I love stuff like Guns Akimbo, which is awesome. Unsuspecting gamer turning really badass. Love that shit. Of course, you gotta mention John Wick. I mean, who'd have thought that killing Keanu's dog actually would get him in a rage? Yeah, who'd have thunk that? I mean, there's a lot of really great ones out there. I mean, the Wicks obviously are really great. I love something like No But Buddy. Nobody surprised the hell out of me. The idea that this guy, Mr. Show, would actually be a badass dude. It's one hell of a shocker, man. Indeed it is. So there is a few ones out there that have really surprised me, that have that whole, like, unsuspecting person who's actually a real badass motherfucker. There's quite a few out there that are like that, man. Those are not the only one, but a few examples indeed. And add Mr. Robert Bronzi to the list. Oh, add him indeed, man. Okay, maybe he's not as badass as Stallone. Maybe not as badass as Mr. Show. God, I thought I'd never say that shit. But he's still pretty good, man. And again, you gotta give him credit, right? If you look like a celebrity like this and you could get away with making some B-movie action cheese, wouldn't you do it too? Seriously? I probably would do it for a good sizable paycheck. You listening, Hollywood? They say I look like Matt Damon and Tom Cruise. They say. I'm just waiting for the phone call. I'm just waiting. I'll be by the phone until you decide to call me. But I could be the next Robert Bronzi. Could be. Watch out, Hollywood. Here I come. Jack is back. But was anybody really asking for it? I mean, seriously, man. In Jack in the Box, Awakening. Oh, when you thought the nightmare was over. Yeah, just when you thought it was. And they really had to come back with another one, didn't they? Oh, Jesus Christ. Ah, seriously? They just couldn't get enough, huh? Apparently not. That twisted bastard is back. Oh, baby. Just don't open the damn thing. It's pretty goddamn simple. Jesus. Reminiscent of Hellraiser 4. No, we don't want to be reminiscent of Hellraiser 4. No. God damn you. Like, that's the last thing we want to be. Jesus Christ. Oh, when you have that as one of the best things they said about the movie, oh, it's reminiscent of Hellraiser 4. It's not really a good thing, folks. Just saying. Oh, man. Oh, I guess that's lavish praise. Sure, why the hell not? Terminally ill heiress Olga Marsdale acquires a mysterious gothic box containing a captured demon, Jack. The powerful entity within makes a deadly deal with Olga and her devoted son Edgar. Deliver 6 victims to Jack, and Olga will live. They trap several unsuspecting victims for him within the vast, crumbling mansion, but can they deliver all 6 before it's too late? Or will Amy, the young and innocent woman recently hired to look after the estate, turn out to be more than a match for both the family and Jake? Oh, God, look out, honey, because Jack is coming for your ass. You're definitely on the menu, bitch. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, okay, sure. How do you even get, like, all the unsuspecting victims to come to the mansion? How do you deliver that? I mean, would you like to come back to my place and see my Jack in the Box, honey? Boy, if that ain't the best pickup line I've ever heard, I don't know what is. Oh, man. Ay. You know, look, there is some ones out there that you always gotta feed the evil, right? You gotta feed the need there, right? I mean, kinda like, let's be real, Jeepers Creepers, baby. I mean, he doesn't really ask people to go get him shit. He's pretty capable of doing it himself. And he does a pretty damn good job of it, man. But, it's just every 23 years. For 23 days. And I make sure to stay away from wherever that dude's at, man. You can guarantee that shit. But, you always get a little comedy love with trying to feed me, Seymour, feed me. I love plants. I love the environment. But that plant, let's put it this way. Sometimes climate change can kill certain things. I'm okay with it. That plant might be one of them. Oh, good God, man. There's some ones out there that you definitely have to feed the need in a big, bad way. And apparently, Jack is one of them. Oh, man. One of those B-movie straight-to-DVD horror icons? Sure. I suppose they need love, too. I mean, look. There's not a lot of great new horror icons out there, okay? I mean, there's Terrifier, which is awesome, and a couple other ones, but nowadays there's more like straight to DVD, Blu-ray ones out there, like Robert. You know, Robert? Yeah, that evil doll thing kind of rips off of Chucky and Annabelle and some shit. Yeah, Robert. We've seen him a time or two, haven't we? And apparently Jack in the Box, too. Apparently the other one was successful enough to make another one. Maybe? Was everybody really anticipating another Jack in the Box movie? Well, even if you weren't, well, you are now. Definitely are now, man. So if you like Hellraiser 4, and who didn't? Bueller? Then Jack in the Box is right up your alley. Next time I see a Jack in the Box, I'll save it for the little kid, because something tells me I'm gonna survive this guy. You can go ahead and open it. Be my guest. Oh, wow. I didn't know they put out the new Dune sequel. Dude, that's awesome. Whoa. Wow. I didn't think it was gonna come out for a couple years. Oh, this is cool. Their mission was doomed to fail. Oh, man, I can't wait. Denis Villeneuve directed this. Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, right? right? Don't disappoint me, please. Oh no! Oh, something tells me this is not what I'm expecting, goddammit. Oh man. Planet Dune. Oh, damn you. God damn you. No. Oh no. Oh Lord. It looks cool, but I bet it's anything but, god damn it. Oh man. Oh! Oh, shit. No, I'm not being creeped out by that. I'm by this. Sean Young? What happened? What the fuck? God, you know what she looks like? Looks like Joan Crawford and Mommy Dearest. No more wire hangers. Yes, Mommy, I swear. Oh my God. What the hell? Jesus. Man, what happened to Sean Young? God, I remember it's so great from like Blade Runner back in the day, man, and a lot of other great films. Well, I no longer have blue balls, that's for sure. Fuck, damn it, man. Jeez, I don't know what to be scared by more. This thing? Or that? Fuck, man, damn. Oh, I used to love you, Sean Young. What happened? And what happened? I mean, come on. The Asylum? Oh, jeez, of course they had to ape off of Dune, didn't they? Oh, I really hate The Asylum. I really do, man. I mean, come on. They've made some of the cheesiest shit out there. I mean, they're always ripping off of the new shit, right? I mean, I've seen, like, Avengers Grimm, right? I've seen Asteroidageddon. Oh, boy, I wonder what that's aping off of. Oh, my God, man. I mean, they've aped off of everything. Jurassic Park and Marvel stuff and Star Wars. You name it. I mean, their biggest claim to fame is Sharknado. And if your biggest claim to fame is flying sharks in a hurricane type of situation, you might have a problem or two. Oh, shit, you just might. Tremors in space, huh? Well, I'll just stick to Tremors on Earth, goddammit. Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ, man. I mean, I like spoof movies, and spoof movies apes off of a lot of Hollywood stuff, but they're, like, intentionally making fun of that shit, right? I mean, it's supposed to be that way. Planet Dune, it's just really bad for the sake of being bad. There's no really aping off of shit. It's just trying to cash in on stuff. And the fact that people buy it. People buy this shit? What the fuck? I mean, seriously, man. I mean, you know, look, there is a sucker born every day. There really is. Fair enough, man. But, I mean, you know, you go through Walmart and you're like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Honey, the new Dune. Oh, I heard about that one. I did. Oh, the sandworms and the monsters. Oh, yes, I heard about that. Big budget. What is it going for? $10. Oh, this is a steal, honey. We gotta get it. And then they open it up, they pop it in, and they're like, boy, I thought people really said nice things about this movie. Man. Glad I didn't pay for HBO Max. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, fucking hell, man. Seriously, dude. I mean, even if you didn't kinda like the new Dune movie or even the old Dune movie, give me a break. Are you really gonna pick this thing over those two movies? Those two movies are exponentially hell of a lot more better than this goddamn thing is. Oh, The Asylum. Continuing to rip off people even in 2022. I'd like to say we've learned our lesson, folks, but have we? Really? Planet Dune says otherwise. It was doomed to fail from the beginning. Not just the mission. This movie. A haunted house, huh? Oh, what an original concept. Sure. In The Haunting of Highhouse, enter if you dare. Oh, yes. You know, look, why can't we just destroy all of the haunted houses in America, right? I mean, it would save us a lot of hassle, cleanup, because there's a lot of stupid people that go into these houses anyways, and they die, and you gotta clean up the dead bodies, and you gotta do the medical reports. I mean, why not just save all the goddamn hassle? Seriously, man. Unless we like stupid people going into haunted houses and killing themselves. Well, it does thin the population. Indeed it does. Oh my god, look at that guy. Oh my god, they're touching my face. And they don't have any sanitizer on. Oh Lord. Oh my god. Oh, what is this about? Danny is an online film reviewer who spends his days trashing independent horror films from behind his pseudonym Donnie the Destroyer. His brutal reviews have earned him millions of followers online, but also a few enemies with an axe to grind. After his latest review, a voice from his computer, that would probably be the first concerning thing, informs him that he's been hacked, and unless he enters the infamous and abandoned Hythe house, his true identity will be revealed online. Oh shit! You gotta do it, or your identity will be revealed, and you definitely don't want that. Wanting to keep his identity secret, he reluctantly travels to the creepy old house and quickly discovers he is now the star of his own horrific nightmare. Oh, indeed. Eventually your internet troll ways will come back to haunt your ass. Oh, indeed it will, man. Remember when that used to be a thing? Right? Because I remember years and years and years ago that people who were doing online reviews on the internet, and I guess it still kind of goes on a little bit, but not as much anymore, where they would hide their face and they would do these reviews. It would be like early YouTube and everything, and they wouldn't show who they were, but they were giving these brutal takedowns of these films and being just real pricks online. And eventually they kind of showed their face and revealed themselves, and it was like a big thing back in the day. It really honestly was, man. I remember those days. Long time ago, mind you, but I do remember them, man. Oh, of course, they never got what this dude got. I only wish. Oh, man. He's entering into a house of horror of hell, where there's weird screaming chicks and chicks with bad hair and ugly teeth. Well, jeez. Just go down the back roads. You'll find a million of them. Oh, man. You know, there's a few movies out there like this. They're mostly B movies, but there's some that have kind of broken through a little bit. I mean, Grave Encounters is kind of one of them. I mean, not exactly like this, but like a crew that goes into this haunted place, and they end up wanting to do this sort of fake cast that think they're gonna, like, you know, do this cool little thing on this haunted place that's not really haunted, but actually is. It was alright for what it is. It was kind of like, almost like, to me, like a Wreck ripoff or some shit. It was okay for what it was, man. I mean, it's not really the same exactly, but I would kind of almost say Transylvania 5000, hey, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I mean, kind of where these guys are doing this paper, and they're doing all these fake things, and they go to Transylvania to sort of seek out Frankenstein's monster, not really thinking it's real, and then they're like, oh shit, it might be real. Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy. What? I kind of like that, man. It's great comedic horror genius, and I think it's really cool, man. I love this flick so much, man. It's really fun. I mean, there's one other one that I really think about, and it's a Tales from the Crypt episode with Morton Downey, where he's this sort of reporter, and he always talks about these crazy phenomena that aren't really real, and he goes into this haunted place thinking that it's some sort of shtick that he can do, and then he's really like, oh my god, it's real, and I'm trapped and I can't get out. Like, I love that shit, man, and I love the idea that somebody who's a real prick sort of gets their comeuppance. I love that shit, man. I have a few on my bucket list. I definitely do, man. I ain't telling, but I do have a few on there that I wish would get their comeuppance in a big bad way, man. I like the idea of somebody who is an asshole who ends up taking a challenge and thinking that he can overcome it and come out the other end, even more superior, and then realizes that, oh my God, it's real. It's all real. And I'm so screwed. I love that idea, man. It's really great. And I'm not saying this movie's perfect, because it probably isn't, to be fair. Some of the imagery looks kind of like if it was a cheapo haunted house flick, like a cheapo Conjuring flick with like quarter of the fucking budget. Yeah, maybe. Look, there are so many haunted house movies out there, and some of them just aren't really good. You either show too little or too much. It's hard to get that really great sweet spot when you talk about a haunted house movie. I mean, some are really, really great. Like I said, I really love The Conjuring and stuff like that. The old school The Haunting movie. Hell, I even really love another great movie that I really love. More comedic than anything else, but I thought it was kind of cool for what it was. And that is none other than Haunted Honeymoon. I think this movie is absolutely fucking brilliant, man. Gene Wilder, Gilda Radner, Dom DeLuise playing a fat chick. Like, it's so cool, man. It's so great. I thought it was really fun, man. I mean, you have great comedic stuff like that, some good horror stuff, but then again, you also have maybe a little overboard. Like, you have something like The Haunting that came out in 99. Not a bad movie by any means. It's not as bad as everybody said it was, but it's not exactly the best it could have been either. It's so tough, man. Like I said, there's a sweet spot to it, and some are able to do it much better than others. This one has a good idea behind it, and I definitely would like to see this prick get its comeuppance. But maybe in a better movie? Maybe. Lord knows it's not the first to try this, and it ain't gonna be the last. But is it one of the best of the bunch? Well, be warned. You could watch it, but you may not survive the experience. You may not, guys. Interesting indeed. Maybe worth a watch. Maybe. If I survive. Indeed, if I do, man. But not bad, and certainly not bad this week. Some very interesting, unique weirdness on display. Not bad at all. It definitely piqued my weird and odd fancy in a big bad way. But then again, it's not that hard to do. Just when you thought it was safe to be evil again, Robert Bronzy makes your straight-to-DVD nightmares come true. And you thought John Wick was brutal. Just wait till you see Rip-Off Bronson. Now, you know what? Look, I have never, ever been to a Jack in the Box, but if the actual fast food joint is probably as bad as this movie might be, I think I'm gonna stick with McDonald's. Oh, and look, we have a vaccine for the coronavirus, right? But I heard, rumor speaking, that they are going to make a vaccine trial for shitty asylum flicks. Starting the trial soon. I'm volunteering. Oh yeah, I really want to be vaccinated against this shit. And wow, a internet troll that has to go into a haunted house or get exposed on the internet. What an original concept. Oh baby indeed, the Walmart weirdness is back in a big bad way. Oh indeed it is, man. All the oddities are on display here. Oh indeed they are, man. Quite interesting and fascinating. Sure. Why not, man? Some very interesting things we're talking about from the second Wally world. Definitely very intriguing indeed, man. As is all physical media. The good, the bad, the weird, the ridiculous. So it always deserves to be shown off, no matter what, baby. And I'm here to do the dirty deed. Oh, I try to indeed, guys. Hope you enjoyed all the madness this time around. But there is one more location to go to. So let's go and check out the next physical media joint. And hopefully some physical media goodies were showing up.
All right, everybody, we are at our fourth and final location. And when it comes to a physical media journey, a physical media adventure, you really do have to supply the beast with a little love. Indeed you do, and I think you know where we're at. We are none other than, Best Buy the Beast. Best Buy, baby. Oh, yes, indeed we are, yet again. Not a bad physical media week this time around. Not bad at all. A little bit here, a little bit there. Supplied a lot of goodness, I'd say. So what will Best Buy have in store? Jeez, I hope a hell of a lot more than we got last week. Yeah, that was a real bummer. Let's hope we at least see something. Fingers crossed. Let's go in. Check it out. All right, everybody, we are in at Best Buy, and my God, man, this is remarkably so much better than last week immediately. I mean, we have Dune, okay? That's 100% better than last week, because they didn't even have a damn copy of it, man. They got the Blu-ray, the DVD digital, they got the 4K, very nice, of course. They don't have that damn Steelbook, man. Oh, that Steelbook. I definitely want that Steelbook, dude. I really do. It's sold out on the website. You can't get it in the stores. I really want it, man. One of these days, I'll probably get it, but God knows I'm going to have to fight tooth and nail for that damn thing. But, again, I do really like this movie. I think it's really solid. It's not going to be for everybody. I think everybody kind of walked in maybe thinking it was going to be a little bit more adventure-filled action spectacle like Star Wars blockbuster-ish, and it is, but it's more thinking man sci-fi. It's more adult sci-fi, and sometimes that isn't for everybody. I think we're so spoon-fed with some of the Star Wars lookalikes that sometimes the adult stuff seems a little bit boring in retrospect, but in reality, it's really not. It's a lot of very intriguing things in this movie. I don't think it's perfect, but I'm definitely intrigued to see where they go next. I definitely am, man. Very interesting that they have that, and of course, thank God they have Halloween Kills, man. The Blu-ray, DVD, digital, at least they have this, man, because again, just like Dune, they didn't have any of this at all, man. And again, you know, man, I really wanted to like this movie. I really do dig Michael Myers as a character and as a horror icon, but this movie really let me down in so many ways, man. It doesn't do the characters any type of justice. It doesn't do the story of Halloween and Laurie and Michael any type of justice or satisfying resolution. I mean, Michael is badass in it, and he's a great killer in this, but everything around him is just limp dick. Laurie is limp dick. The characters in Haddonfield are. The old school nostalgia just feels like it's put in there just so, hey, remember this? Hey, remember that? I want something original. I want something new. And unfortunately, the Halloween franchise feels like it's kind of stalled out. And at that point, you just let it die. You really do. And Halloween Kills deserves to be stabbed to death. Yeah, let's put it that way. It definitely does, man. I mean, hey, at least we saw two things that we didn't see last week, so hey, we are on the upswing, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hope there's more to check out. And indeed we do on the other side of the new release love. I mean, first of all, can I say that they finally have more stock in a Venom? Geez, it took them long enough, man. I mean, the DVD, the Blu-ray, the 4K, they don't have everything Venom, but at least they actually finally filled up a little bit of the empty spaces, thank God. I mean, they have that. They do have a little bit of Requiem for a Dream Love, the Steelbook. Oh, that Best Buy exclusive. I forgot that was coming out this week, man, for $19.99. I know this is one people are really anticipating. Look at that. Cool. Such a good movie, man. I've talked about this movie ad nauseum, but I so fucking love this movie, man. It's so goddamn good. Ass to ass. It is such a depressing movie, man. It really is. It's depressing as fuck, but it's so well acted. It's so dramatic and intense, and it's just a really great ride into dark, depressing issues and situations, and I really love this movie, man. I really do. Steelbook's not half bad, actually. Pretty cool, honestly. And good special features, too. Not half bad. A little Best Buy exclusive love for Requiem for a Dream. Not half bad, man. That's pretty cool. And they got that. They also do have a little bit of juice love, that regular 4K for $22.99. And I actually did hear recently that the transfer, something is really messed up on the 4K here for Juice. I heard some reviews that have really said that the quality is not that good, that they kind of messed up the actual like picture with the 4K version, which is a real damn shame if that's the truth, man. I mean, I'm so glad that movies like this get a 4K to spotlight them to a newer audience, but movies that get 4Ks like this or Pirates of the Caribbean, you would think would get good additions, right? Because they're 4Ks. They're upping the quality, and you would think everything is just improved overall. But, man, a lot of 4Ks as of late are getting a lot of bad press. They really are, man. And it just goes to show you that as much as people really want 4K, it isn't the bee's knees. It isn't everything that everybody cracks it up to be. 4K is good in certain instances. I will truly cop to that. But honestly, Blu-ray or DVD is just as fine. Sometimes you don't need the latest and greatest. You just need just one version of it. If you get the Blu-ray, fine. If you get the 4K, fine. But it's not like you have to get the latest and greatest. Look at reviews. Look at, what people are saying about it. And then judge for yourself. Just because everybody else is buying it doesn't mean that you have to. Easier said than done, because sometimes we always like the latest and greatest that everyone else is talking about. But just know that just because it's the latest format doesn't mean that it's the best edition. Put it that way. Hey, the Addams Family 2, baby. The Blu-ray DVD digital for $24.99. Yes, all that Addams goodness. Of course, baby. I gotta love it, man. I gotta admit, I really do, man. Even though I wasn't the biggest on this movie, and I thought it wasn't honestly the greatest, I have to give it at least a little bit of love, because there's more Addams Family out there in the world, and I do really appreciate Addams Family. I do, and I've watched so much of it, man. I mean, the old school black and white show that I used to love way back when I was a kid, the two major theatrical films out there with Raul Julia and Christopher Lloyd, which were absolutely fantastic. They did make one with Tim Curry as Gomez Addams, Addams Family Reunion, which is not bad. It's a little goofball. Daryl Hannah plays Morticia Addams, I believe. It's actually not bad, honestly. It's pretty decent. I haven't seen it in years, but I kind of actually dig that one. They also ended up actually doing a newer Addams Family TV show. It was called The New Addams Family, I think it was, or something like that. That was actually not half bad, honestly. I think there was like 60 some odd episodes or something like there, something to that degree. It wasn't like long for this world. It was only on for maybe a couple of seasons, not that long at all, but it was kind of fun for what it was. And then of course you had the animated show and then the animated movies. Addams Family has always in one way or another been kid-friendly to one extent or the next, so I can't really fault the fact that this movie is very kid-friendly, but I kind of feel like kid-friendly is different nowadays than it was way back in the day. You know what I mean? Even the Addams Family live-action movies were still moments where there was some adult stuff in there, man, where you're like, okay, this is gonna go over kids' heads, but it's really funny once you get it as an adult, man. I really like that, where Wednesday's taking the piss out of the whole Thanksgiving thing, and almost like Wednesday was cancel culture before cancel culture existed. Man, that's really wild to think that, but it's so true, man. God, it's crazy. But there is just some really great things in those movies that I think adults really love. And in here, it just doesn't really feel that way, unfortunately. It just feels very kiddie, very, pop culture references and, pop culture stuff for the kiddies. It just kind of does. It feels very watered down as an Addams Family movie, and that's kind of a shame. I still like the characters. I like the whole, drab, dark, depressing people in this world of brightness. I do kind of like that. They do play with that a bit, but it's not enough. I wish they would have done it a bit more. I'd like to see Addams Family grow into more live-action stuff in the future. Maybe another sequel. I don't know how well this one did. I mean, maybe an Addams Family 3, but I'd like for it to go a little bit more adultish, a little bit more risque. Then again, dude, I'm asking for, the world at this point, because, again, they ain't doing what I'm asking, man. Again,
we live in a world of Disney-fied everything. Do you seriously think they would do a grown-up version of Addams Family nowadays? Man, I'm absolutely reaching for the fucking stars, man. I am. But it's cool to see it, but I've seen better iterations, and this is more on the lower end of the totem pole. Still fun, but not the Addams Family that I know and love. A little more of a watered-down version, put it that way. You do get some good special features. The Addams Family Road Trip Checklist, We're All Together Addams, Courage to be Kooky. It's always had a little bit of tongue-in-cheek quality, and it does here, but not like the old school days. And actually, to be fair, nothing really anymore is like the old school days. Even Addams. That's a shame. Sometimes revisiting the past can be a real killer. Oh, indeed it can, with Last Night in Soho, baby. The Blu-ray DVD digital for $24.99, the 4K Blu-ray digital for $29.99. Ah, yes. We got always check out a little more Edgar Wright goodness. We definitely indeed have to. And I got to admit, Edgar Wright is a student of cinema. He truly is, and this is fair, because he always really looks back on old school movies as a sense of inspiration for the project that he's doing, and Last Night in Soho is no exception. He took a lot of inspiration from old school artists like Roman Polanski, Mario Bava, Dario Argento, Lucio Fulci. Like, he definitely is influenced very much, especially in this film, with Italian horror cinema. I mean, if you compare this to something like, let's say, Suspiria, it's the colors. I mean, especially when I was watching this movie, it's the lurid colors and the outlandish cinematography sometimes that really heightens the sense of dread that I'm like, oh man, that is straight out of something like Suspiria, man. So he was extremely influenced by Italian horror cinema, Italian horror giallis, which if you've never dived into those, I recommend you do that, because there is some amazing stuff out there that has been directed by Dario Argento, Lucio Fulci, Bava, and many others, man. So many great giallis that influenced American cinema in a big bad way, because a lot of great American horror cinema was influenced by Italian cinema. A lot of that stuff we wouldn't have if it wasn't for Italian cinema itself. So it's very unique and interesting to see that coming back around and seeing artists like Edgar Wright really being influenced by that in a big bad way, which I really appreciate, man. I really dig that he's somebody that's a student of cinema, a student of old school cinema, even Italian cinema, and taking those influences and bringing them into modern day sensibilities. I really, really appreciate that. And even there's a little bit of a cool little tidbit that he actually had Thomasin McKenzie actually had her watch 30 movies that really influenced the way he wanted to do Last Night in Soho. And it was from a lot of Italian directors, even Suspiria. So he definitely was influenced by the great Italian horror maestros themselves. And so it's kind of interesting to see him really taking that and really blending his own sensibilities in there, man. I don't know if he was 100% successful making the best version of an American-style dream-like gialli, but I think he did the best he possibly could in the style that he did, and I thought that it was brilliant for the most part, man. It really honestly was, and I give him a lot of credit for going horror, for going under these influences, and yet trying to be commercial at the same time. It's not easy to pull off, and some artists are better at doing it than others, but I think Edgar Wright pulled it off pretty well for the most part, man. Again, somebody like me who really appreciates the old school cinema and really appreciates the influences, I saw some of the predictability aspect of it, but I've watched so many of them that at this point it's sort of a no-brainer for me. But I still love that you can still teach modern audiences how to really embrace old school cinematic ideas in a new way. And I think Edgar Wright really did a great job with this, man. So I give him a lot of credit with Last Night in Soho. It's as perfect of an American-style New Age gialli that you're probably going to get in quite a while. And give Edgar Wright a lot of credit for that, man. He pulled it off, and he pulled it off in spades, man. Not bad. I mean, you do get deleted scenes here. You get behind-the-scenes filmmakers in talent, groundbreaking film was made, and all this jazz. I mean, some pretty decent featurettes, but honestly, Edgar Wright is a very unique filmmaker that has done a lot of unique films, and I give him a lot of credit for this. Going outside his comfort zone and making a movie that is something that I think a lot of people very much respect, myself included. Not bad at all. Not bad at all on that one. Pretty good. And pretty solid selection so far. Not the greatest, but not so bad. Let's see if there's anything else worth checking out. Well, that's where it ends, folks. Yeah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm not seeing anything new over here. I mean, I will be honest, though, they do have a little bit of Cobra Kai love. And if you want to be any physical media retail bad boy, you need Cobra Kai in your stores. You definitely do, man. Goddamn, do I love Cobra Kai. I am soon going to be diving into Cobra Kai Season 4. No spoilers, damn it. I am definitely doing that. There's a few things I've had to watch, and now I'm going to finally get to Cobra Kai Season 4. Oh, I can't wait, dude. I cannot wait. Oh, it's going to be so good. God, I love this series, man. Cheesy, ridiculous, I know. My girlfriend gives me flack for it. She just doesn't understand. She doesn't understand the Karate Kid love. Oh, if she only knew. If she only knew, indeed. I mean, come on, Karate Kid. Wax on, wax off, motherfucker. Seriously? Oh, it's so good. Oh, man, it's so great. Cannot wait to dive into that, man. Of course, they still got a little bit of Dune love, a little bit of Venom goodness. Yeah, they've got a few things here, a few things there. Oh, I mean, hey, at least they have one, and I mean only one in the entire store, one lonely copy left of No Time to Die. And this is probably going to go pretty damn fast, man. James Bond is one badass motherfucker and one hot physical media motherfucker when it comes to flying off of the shelves, man. And this dude definitely has, man. Damn. My God, dude. But they have all of the usual suspects, of course. Silence of the Lambs, that Three from Hell Steelbook. I mean, they have some of the good stuff here, but nothing really new, unfortunately. All the new stuff is in the front, and the usual suspects are in the back. Still, not too bad overall. Let's head out. Well, at least Best Buy didn't disappoint this week. That is a thing. Indeed it is, guys. And overall, I thought they did pretty well. I mean, yes, they didn't have everything I wanted them to have, but they had most of the new release love. They had a little bit of Steelbook exclusive goodness. And, hey, they did come back and have a couple of those big name releases that they were supposed to have last week, but, you know... the pesky inventory. We had to wait for that shit. Sure. Keep on telling yourself that. They finally had that goodness as well. So they made up overall for the disappointing last week for sure, man. And, you know, look, I'm not going to be real here. You know, physical media is not exactly the most booming industry for these retail stores like it used to be. And there will be weeks where we will be very, very disappointed. It's just a sad reality, guys. It really is. But as long as we have bounce back weeks like this, then I tend to be okay with it. I don't want a streak of bad luck constantly. Every now and again, I understand the circumstances, but let's not make that a habit. Let's not make that a habit indeed, guys. And I gotta admit, something really cool, by the way. They used to, up here in the rafter area, they used to have the shelving for Black Friday. They used to have all that stuff for... the stereo equipment and some of the radios and everything up here, and they had them up here for Black Friday. And if you remember, the Best Buy manager ended up coming to me. This was like, I don't know, like a couple weeks or so after Black Friday, and they said, oh, eventually in the new year we're gonna take those down for you so you'll have better lighting for your videos. And I thought he was fucking with me, but no, he actually did. He actually took the shit down so that I would have better lighting for my videos to show off the movies. Holy shit. He actually did that for me. You know, not to brag or anything. Oh, shit. Wow. You know, sometimes people love you. Right. Oh, man, hey. If I can get something, I'll take it. Better than nothing, put it that way, man.
They may not always have the physical media I want, but the people here at Best Buy are pretty damn awesome, all things considered, man. Not a bad week, a little bit of a bounce back, and I definitely appreciate it. I hope you do too. How about we head home and finish the video? Alright, everybody, that'll do it for the Blu-ray and DVD. Out and about video this week, and turned out to be not half bad. Not half bad at all. I mean, not the big physical media bonanza that sometimes we're used to, but a little bit does go a long way. And the fact that every store had stuff to show off, that isn't always the case, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be real. I've had many videos where we've had maybe 2 out of the 4 places have stuff, 3 out of the 4 places, but very rarely is it ever 4 out of 4. And hey, you gotta take something when you can get it. And this week, I definitely will. Not half bad. Not half bad considering, guys. Look, physical media has been having its struggle in the stores, and going forward in 2022, I don't know how far it's really going to stretch. I don't know how far it's really going to go down. I mean, you don't know. Every year is different, and as we move forward, technology changes and shifts, and our sensibilities to the way we used to do things change all the time. So physical media is never guaranteed in stores ever, especially nowadays. So the fact that we can see stuff new at all the stores, especially in 2022, yeah, I will take it, guys. I hope you will too. Well, so we got to hope for the best, man. We definitely do. Hopefully you picked up something good. Definitely let me know. As far as I'm concerned, well, I got a few things. Indeed I did. First of all, I want to thank one of my subscribers. I don't know exactly who sent it because there was no note. I wish there was, but this was interesting, man. I mean, I just went to the post office on a whim. I didn't really think I was going to be getting anything, and goes to show, surprise, surprise, you never quite know what the P.O. Box will hold until you actually go and check it out. This was quite interesting, man. Wow. I mean, 2 Jess Franco flicks, that's really cool. From Blue Underground, 2 I've never heard of, 2 Undercover Angels, and Kiss Me Monster. It looks cool, like some badass chicks. I'm down for that. I like my badass babes, and this kind of looks something down my alley. As I said, I've never really dealt too much with Jess Franco, but I've always heard really good things about his movies. Yes, they're very sleazy and sometimes a little cheesy and a little perverse. Yeah, I've heard things, folks, but I've never really went down the Jess Franco rabbit hole like others have. But maybe it's about time to. I'll definitely give it a go, man. And Hellions, which is something I definitely have wanted to watch. This has always looked good to me. I love Robert Patrick. A little bit of Scream Factory love. Very nice. Definitely one I wanted to dive into. This is really cool to get. And oh my god, man. I don't know what the fuck to expect with this. I have no idea, man. This looks so cheesy as fuck. Oh, man. But honestly, you must know my sensibilities, because this is right down my alley, man. Oh, dude. I don't know what I'm going to think about this film, but I think I'm going to at least have a very fun ride watching the damn thing. Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus. Wow, man. This is really weird, really cool stuff, man. Really awesome. I really dig this. You know, I've been getting a lot of surprises in the P.O. Box over, like, the past year. And this is, I think, one of the big surprises for 2022. This is some weird stuff, man, but I'm definitely going to be checking these things out, man. I'll be in for quite the ride. That's for damn sure. Wow. That's crazy, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's crazy, man. Now, that craziness P.O. Box love aside, I also got a couple things in the mail as well. Now, this I actually got through Amazon Prime. And it's actually a movie that I've been wanting for quite a while. And I always kept on putting it in the back burner, or sometimes just frankly forgetting about it. But I'm glad that I finally have gotten the chance to have it in the collection. And that is none other than Matthew Broderick and Christopher Walken in Biloxi Blues. Oh, yes, man. The Army made Eugene a man, but Daisy gave him basic training. Oh, yes. Oh, my God, man. Mike Nichols directed, Neil Simon. Man, I watched this movie years and years and years and years ago. I did, man. And it was part of, like, you know, the VHS era. You know, you're watching stuff on cable and, you know, VHS flicks that, you know, you're renting and whatnot. And I've always really loved this. And in fact, it's a movie that honestly has kind of got a little bit forgotten by time. I mean, when you think of Matthew Broderick, nobody ever talks about this film. When you think of Christopher Walken, you will think of many movies, many things he's ever done. But you will not think of Biloxi Blues, man. This is one of the ones that has completely gotten forgotten, but I love it. It's basically about World War II and these guys that go into the Army to train to go into combat and war. And it's kind of like a quirky, dramatic comedy that I've really loved and I really appreciated, man. I mean, it's a little bit less goofy than something like Stripes or something, but it's got some really colorful characters, some really amazing dialogue. I mean, it's Neil Simon. I mean, the dialogue just snaps, man. Snaps immediately. And I love Christopher Walken here. He's so iconic. Matthew Broderick is incredibly likable and charming and everyman. It's really great. It's a cool little army flick that I definitely appreciate, man. And I've forgotten that it had gotten released by Shout Select, and it's not an actual easy movie to find because nobody really has it, and Amazon has it, but you know, it's not exactly the most like cheapest movie to get. I kind of feel like with some of these movies, especially these more obscure ones, that when a boutique label puts them out, after a while, the availability kind of shrinks down a bit. And the price either really skyrockets or just sort of maintains that it never really goes down to where it's really a manageable price. But it was something I really wanted, and I knew that I really didn't want to wait till this thing went out of print eventually. So I decided I gotta get this in the collection, man. I'm so glad that I finally did, man. A really great comedy with really great dramatic elements and really great character actors, man. Love this flick so much. Really, really great. Glad I finally got Biloxi Blues in the collection. I also ended up getting Through Orbit DVD. This is one that I've been wanting for a while, and I finally pulled the trigger on it, and I'm really glad that I did. I kind of been waiting a little bit, but I decided I think it's time. It was well worth getting, and that is none other than The Invitation. Oh, man, do I love this. There is nothing to be afraid of. Well, that's what they say. I really love this movie, man. I remember when I first watched this movie, I didn't really know what to expect. The idea that this guy is going to this dinner party with this woman, the idea that the house party that he's going to, this sort of dinner, is from his sort of ex-wife, and that they had a lot of marital problems and issues, and there's a lot more going on under the surface than you can ever possibly realize. And you think it's one thing, and then it completely turns into something else. I really love this movie, man. I think it's so amazingly, just absolutely captivating and thrilling and just wonderful. Whether it's the pacing of the movie, whether it's the acting, the mystery, I just love how the whole film goes about itself, and I think it's a really well done movie, and in almost every single aspect, man. It's unpredictable. You don't see where things are going. I think it's really absolutely fantastic, man. I thought it was really good. I really did. I loved this one. Thought it was really fantastic. And with Second Sight releasing it, I mean, Second Sight is an amazing company. They do amazing work. And I knew I wanted this one. The Invitation is so fucking awesome. So this is one that definitely I wanted to make the shelf, and I'm damn glad that I finally got it, man. It's such a really wonderful movie. We're definitely well worth diving into. I think you're going to be surprised by this one. Not half bad at all. Pretty damn good, man. So I got those things, right? The P.O. Box love, a little bit of mail love, but I also have a few interesting, mysterious movies in the little black bag here. Oh, indeed I do. Ooh. Oh, it's good, guys. Oh, it's real good, man. So, basically, what's in this bag, you got 3 films, right? So, the first one is a horror flick where, don't mess with a chick who's trying to get ahead in the workplace. You also have a movie where a wish can mean more than you can possibly imagine. And a horror icon returns for a third go at it. Oh, very interesting indeed. But you guys will not get to find out exactly what I picked up until my Blu-ray pickup video, which will drop next month. It will show off all of the titles that I got for the month of January. And yes, it is back. I'm doing the Blu-ray pickup videos again. And I love the mystery and intrigue. Oh, indeed I do, man. You know, this month has kind of been a surprise for me. There's going to be some new release love, limited editions. There's going to be a few surprises as well, indie love, and perhaps even a few things that I haven't even shown off yet. Oh, yes. It's going to be some good stuff this time around, guys. Not the most crazy plentiful month of all time, but I'm kind of becoming more picky and choosy in the way that I actually buy my physical media. I don't think I'm going to be as crazy in my buying habits as I used to be, but I think that only makes what I get even more special, because if I really like it, it's really going in the collection, and it means that much more to me that it's going in there instead of just buying for the sake of buying. So these ones, could they make the shelf? Well, I guess you're just going to have to find out next month to truly find out. Oh, it'll be a good one, guys. Oh, indeed it will. With the mystery packages and then a little bit of physical media love. Boy, as far as physical media goes, wasn't a half bad week. And before I let you guys go, I gotta talk about this very interesting article. Now, it was from a few weeks ago, but I'm finally getting to it now. The interesting news about Blockbuster. Oh, you didn't hear? Blockbuster's making a comeback. I know, right? God, nostalgia's a bitch, man. Apparently so, because, well, at least it's trying to. Because Blockbuster is hoping to come back as a streaming service in a new plan. Oh, seriously? Really? Another streaming service? Let's dive in, shall we? Now, they talk about how a Blockbuster DAO is a new social media handle that is trying to generate $5 million to buy the intellectual property rights to the Blockbuster video brand from Dish Network, its current holder. The plan, according to FX Empire, who first reported the plans, is to rebuild Blockbuster as a streaming service that they hope will revolutionize the film industry. They don't say. A DAO, or Decentralized Autonomous Organization, would run on the blockchain and automate most decisions, ostensibly putting more power into the hands of viewers to determine the future of licenses and original programming on the streaming service and eliminating human error. So could this lead to a streaming service that actually has the old movies we want to watch, like when we would visit the old video store? Maybe. But the report goes on to point out that Dish would likely see $5 million as too low of an offer. The company bought Blockbuster for $320 million in 2011 and closed its remaining stores and DVD by mail service in 2014. The collapse of the video rental industry was already well underway, so it's likely that the original purchase price was the value of the Blockbuster name and its brand. Blockbuster DAO hopes to finance their attempt via the sale of Blockbuster DAO NFT mints priced at 0.13 each. So if you want to own a piece of what they are hoping is the future of the film industry, well, you can check out their Blockbuster DAO Twitter account for the details and the updates. Good luck to them. I hope they raise the $5 million, and I hope that they are successful for yet another streaming service in the overall cog machine. Oh, let's see where this one goes, folks. Look, now I talked earlier about the idea of Netflix raising prices and the idea of how everyone is eventually going to do that, and you have to really think about your budget, essentially, as far as what you're paying for already versus how much content that you actually want to dive into for the price that they are making it, right? Okay, fair enough. But let's also talk about the content for a second here, too, because there is 24 hours in a day. Okay, let's break this down, right? If you work, let's say you work 8 hours a day. So you already take 8 hours out of that 24 hours, right? On top of that, well, you also gotta sleep. So let's put, I don't know, 6 hours. Maybe you'll sleep less, maybe you'll sleep more, but we'll say 6 hours. Then, of course, you have to pay bills, deal with friends and family, eat, and, you know, obviously driving, and a lot of other stuff that happens, you know, go shopping, you know, all the extracurricular activities that you do. How much time per day do you really think that you have to watch content? Let's say maybe you have 2 to 4 hours. Maybe have a little bit more, maybe have a little bit less, but let's say, generally speaking, about a 4-hour time frame, give or take, right? With streaming services nowadays, and there's a hell of a lot of them, 2 to 4 hours doesn't seem like a hell of a lot of time to dive into streaming service content, especially when most streaming service content is at least an hour, if not more. You really have to start being very picky and choosy about what you watch and where you watch it from. I mean, think about this for a second, right? You have Netflix, you have Hulu, you have Disney Plus, you have Peacock, you have Paramount Plus, and you have all the other streaming services out there like Tubi and a whole host of other ones, right? You have a ton of them out there, and way more than I can even think of. Apple TV, you name it. So many of them, right? And at a certain point, you can't get to everything. And so you have to start asking yourself, well, do I skimp on the Book of Boba Fett this week? Do I skimp on the latest original Netflix show that is coming out? Well, I wanted to watch Squid Game, but I gotta fit in this Hulu original programming over here. There's a lot of content out there. In fact, you could almost argue that the content is so good nowadays that it's hard to choose what to actually watch. And that may be the case. But the fact that we're so overloaded with content, and the fact that we don't have as much time to watch all of the content, really speaks to where your actual focus is going to be. And then add in another streaming service on top of it. Add on a Blockbuster streaming service. Now, here's the wild thing about this whole thing, man, is that Blockbuster, at one time, had the chance to buy Netflix. Yeah. Netflix actually wanted to work with Blockbuster. And Blockbuster was like, get the hell out of here. They completely dismissed Netflix to their detriment. And now this new group comes in and says, well, we want to be kind of just like Netflix, only perhaps a little bit better. But in a world full of streaming services already, and so many generic ones out there, and everyone vying for your hard-earned money and for your eyeballs,
is another one really worth it? But how exactly is this all gonna work? I mean, think about it, right? Because let's say they're successful at this. Let's say that they raise the money. Let's say that Dish Network says yes, and they're like, okay, just get it off of our hands. If you think you can do better, have at it. Okay, fine. And they do all this stuff. And they put the streaming service on there. And you are one of the lucky people that are going forward and seeing this venture through. You pay the money, whatever it is. Let's say the price is $10, okay? And they're putting on older movies, and they're looking at original content, and it's all supposed to be this automated system that is supposed to be based on you. You are going to be controlling what is watched and what isn't. So you're controlling the content that is on that streaming service. But how does that work exactly? Is it going to be by a percentage? Is it going to be by a vote tally? How is it actually going to work out where they're actually going to do the content based on the feedback that they get from these subscribers? And let's say, for instance, it is a popular thing. Let's say that they end up having this great idea for this TV show, right? Okay, and everybody is like, huge percentage of people say, we want this, right? And so they end up making that content. And let's say the first episode comes out and everybody hates it, right? You just spent so much money on that particular content because everybody wanted it. But just because everybody wants it doesn't mean that it's automatically going to be successful. See, this is an interesting thing when we're talking about streaming services and the fact that these companies are throwing so much money at the content, right? Look at Disney, right? They're throwing so much money at Star Wars content and Marvel content, and let's be real, folks. Not all of that content hits the way we want it to. Some of it is better than others. Some of it is kind of, frankly, dull and kind of boring. For every great Mandalorian thing, you know, we're going to get a little bit of a dud at times. You know, for every sort of weird and interesting WandaVision, there's going to be a rather mundane Marvel show that doesn't quite pique people's interest. But they're throwing so much content at you, and they know that it's a brand, right? Marvel's a brand, Star Wars is a brand. So if you don't like one, well, shit, we've got like 5 more of them where you're bound to like one of them, right? They're just going to throw it at you. Okay, you don't like this one, well, you'll like the next one. But they have the cash and the capital to do that. And think about Netflix. Netflix was all about bringing older content and older shows and movies to the masses early on. That's what they were doing. They were quite successful at it. Then they realized that all these other streaming services were taking the content back. And they realized that, well, if we don't start investing in original content and finding content out there that we can have as our own, then we're screwed. We're dead in the water. And so they changed their dynamic, and it worked to their benefit. It doesn't always. You know, for every Squid Game, there's a show that comes out that doesn't quite actually hit the masses the way they want it to, and it just gets caught in algorithm hell. There's a lot more stuff on Netflix that gets caught in algorithm hell that actually hits. But again, they have the capital, they have the means in which to do it. When you're starting up a streaming service, it's all about money, it's all about capital, it's all about hitting big right out of the gate, because you need confidence in your streaming service. You need to contend with the big boys. And when you say Blockbuster, you're thinking this is a brand. If we're going to do this, this is a brand name thing that we are going to get out there to the masses, and we need to essentially have something amazing right out of the gate to get people going. If you just put older movies on the platform, you're going to get a certain amount of people that are going to watch it, right? But a lot of people are going to be like, well, okay, we've went through all of the older catalog. What else you got? And then it's going to be a matter of delivering that. And they're going to need backers. They're going to need high-profile stars. They're going to need high-profile screenwriters and directors and producers. And what does that cost? It costs money. And so it's great that you
want to give people the opportunity to revolutionize the industry and do something unique and interesting and put power in the hands of the viewers themselves. That's a great idea, and it's not a bad one. But at the end of the day, I would argue that that only works if you're guaranteed that what you're going to put out is going to hit big. And there's no guarantee in that whatsoever. Absolutely no guarantee. And most of the high-profile properties already is bought up by Amazon, is bought up by Disney, is bought up by Netflix, and a lot of these corporations already. You have to put something original out there, which is going to absolutely get everybody intrigued to want to be part of your streaming service. That is not easy to do. That is extremely difficult. And in a world where streaming services are becoming king, what you're finding now is that, yes, there's a lot of little smaller ones out there that are trying to survive, but it's the big corporate entities right now. It's the big ones. They're the ones that are too big to fail. Blockbuster is not in that category. Not even close to it, man. Blockbuster used to be a brand. If Blockbuster had done what they should have done and bought Netflix, or even started a streaming service that ended up contending with Netflix, I think we might be having a different story today than we would otherwise be having. Because when you have Blockbuster as an entity and a streaming service thing, and maybe they were doing the stuff that Netflix is doing, then maybe we could talk about, oh, hey, you know, doing a gambling situation of putting this content out there and putting that content out there and having the capital for it and whatnot. Dish Network is not a company that's really interested in that. They're not a company that wants to go out of their way to compete with Disney and compete with Netflix. They have their own little corner of the world, and they don't really want to stray outside of that. I appreciate this company wanting to do that, and I appreciate them wanting to have consumers have shares of their stock in order to have a say in the product. But I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of people out there that have great ideas, but it doesn't exactly translate well to the masses. That's the thing about it, is that, again, there is so much content that is brought to our faces every single year. There is so much. Movies and television shows and video games, music, you name it. There's so much. And at a certain point, ask yourself how much of that content is really front and center and gets the attention. There's not much of it, if you really think about it. There's a lot of great stuff out there that gets overlooked. Yes, I'll completely agree with you, but at the end of the day, there's only a fraction amount of the content that ever gets the actual attention that it truly deserves. Only a fraction of it ever really does. And so you're asking these people, hey, what are you looking for? What are you interested in? Well, I'm interested in A, B, C, and D. And then let's say they make A, B, C, and D. And maybe only A and D is successful. And B and C are not. Oh, shit. Okay, well, fuck. I guess we fucked up. What's good for some people is not good for the masses. And so it's weird to say that to put it in consumers' hands is a bad thing, but it's not. But at the same time, you have to be well aware of who are you catering to. Are you catering towards the kids? Are you catering towards more adult content? Where are we going here? There are so many X factors to deal with when talking about a streaming service. And when you're dealing with that, you're talking about money, you're talking about hiring people. There is so much aspects to this. You look at Disney Plus. Disney Plus has family-friendly lockdown. And you could almost say they, in some ways, have a little bit of the geek culture lockdown as well. You look at Netflix. Netflix has baking and cooking shows locked down. They have a lot of the binge-watching shows locked down. And
they're more of the adult Disney than anything else. And they're trying to separate those two, right? They're trying to do their own thing, and and sometimes they kind of intersect with one another, but for the most part, they try to be opposite of one another to try to still cater to the crowd that they're trying to do. But then if you bring Blockbuster in, where is Blockbuster really going to settle? Are they really going to compete with Netflix to try to go for the more dramatic, adult-oriented content? Or are they trying to go with more family-friendly content to try to compete with Disney? Either way, Blockbuster is screwed. Blockbuster has no chance of surviving. And so, it's easy to say, I want to start a streaming service. It's easy to say, I want to make content and revolutionize the industry. There are so many people out there that say that. It's easy to say it. Doing it is a whole different matter, man. And so, I hope this works out. I hope this group raises the money, and I hope Dish ends up giving them a chance to give them the name and go forward. I'd like to see what they produce and what they make out of this. But I just don't think that they've thought out all the angles of it at the end of the day. And I think the streaming wars are cutthroat. The streaming wars are absolutely cutthroat. And not all of these streaming services are going to survive at the end of the day. Who knows in 5 years even if Netflix is going to be around? I'd like to think it will be, but you don't know. I mean, there is so much riding on streaming services, and there's so much money that is so bundled up in it all, that at the end of the day, these are too big to fail, man. And at a certain point, there's so much money that's wrapped up in it all that to try to have some more competition come in, I just feel like they're just going to get swallowed up, man. They're going to get swallowed up by Netflix or Disney or Peacock or Hulu. Somebody's going to just swallow them up whole, man. And so I think the streaming services are going to be very brutal. I think there's going to be a lot of competition out there, and there's going to be a lot of content to watch. But as far as new players coming into the game, if you're coming into this game, you have to be ruthless. You have to have the money, and you have to have the guts to stand up against some of these other big names out there. Because if you don't, you are going to be eaten alive, man. And Blockbuster, as much as I'd love to see Blockbuster come back, I want to see Blockbuster come back in a way that makes sense. A streaming service is a great idea, but again, with all of these companies hoarding content and older movies and making all the original content and having all the money to do it, you either come out guns blazing or you end up failing like a wet fart, man. I mean, seriously. I think it's fascinating, and I give them a lot of credit for wanting to do this, but just know that I think they would have been successful even 2 or 3 years ago. They might have been successful at trying this. But now with the pandemic really being what it is, and the world changing the way it is so rapidly, that the time to do this is pretty much passing them by. And so if they don't do this now, then they're never going to do it. And good luck to them for even trying, because they may be there, but blink and you'll miss it, and they could be gone. That's how life is changing so fast, and that's how entertainment is changing so fast. And Blockbuster is not the mighty giant that they used to be. It's a Zippo, zero, nada, nothing of a company anymore that has one store left in Bend, Oregon. That's it. And streaming, they missed the boat on it. And now to try to come back and do it again, especially with the way that streaming is now, easier said than done, man. Good luck to you. Good luck to you indeed. I give them a lot of credit, but I just don't know if they're gonna survive it, man. I just don't know. You gotta let me know what you guys think about this. It's fascinating. It's interesting. I just don't know if they're gonna pull it off, man. I don't know, but hey, I'm interested to find out. I definitely am. Hope you are too.
And hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Check out the other Blu-ray and DVD out and about videos that I do every single week. Check out movie reviews with my friends, movie hunting, live streams, and much, much more. If you are a lover of movies and physical media, hit subscribe and become part of the Film Fan Nation. I want to thank my really wonderful subscribers out there. You guys are amazing, awesome, great feedback and commitment to the channel, watching all the videos, and really giving me some wonderful, wonderful, loving comments and showing me and the channel a lot of really great support, and I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. So if you haven't subscribed, you definitely do it. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every single time I make a video. Also, keep up to date with everything I'm doing through Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. FilmFan108, keep up to date with everything I'm doing, plus special pictures and videos I do from time to time on social media as well. And if you are interested in sending the channel any movie-related goodness, physical media, posters, care packages, you name it, you can do it. The P.O. Box is in the description below. It is not expected, but it's definitely appreciated, and I know you guys have gone out of your way to say, hey, we'd like to send you some cool stuff. Where do we send it? The P.O. Box is the place to do it. I try to check it every, once a week or once every couple of weeks. And I've been surprised by what I've gotten. You guys have sent some amazing stuff, and that just keeps on rolling, and I can't wait to see where the P.O. Box adventures take me next. I cannot wait. It could be really, really fun, man. So if you're interested in sending stuff, definitely do it. And I guess that does it for another out and about video. All the crazy, weird, insane physical media to show off, and more to come, folks. So I will see you back next time for a brand new Blu-ray and DVD out and about video. Take care, everybody, and remember, happy hunting.